Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It's totally free. It doesn't cost anything. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we have a Knight of Cups. This is all about the giving and receiving of love and affection. This is how we are expressing what's inside of us. In that, how are you communicating your emotions, right? How are you being guided by your emotions? Are we on the quest for our very own Holy Grail, right? Do we have a passion? Is our heart stirred? Are we moved to something? Yeah. Let's see what's going on here. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. We had a volunteer card. Okay, so we're going to use that as our very next energy. And it's a 4 of Swords. Okay, interesting. Got a Princess of Cups. The Emperor. A 2. Okay, I'm kind of getting a theme here, right? 2 of Pentacles. And look at that, the Fool. The Fool is, of course, Percival, right? The Knight of the Holy Grail from the famous Grail cycle legends. Over here we have a Princess of Wands, a 7 of Swords, a Prince of Swords, and a Princess of Swords. My goodness, that's a lot of court cards here. I do feel like you are about ready to make a very big transition in your life, okay? I feel like you are your heart is being stirred to something new, right? And I think that in a way, you're going from perhaps an Emperor energy to a Fool energy. Rather than the rigid and disciplined, kind of very serious and very planned out kind of Emperor energy. You're going to a more spontaneous, creative, more intuitive, right? More free-flowing Fool energy. I like that a lot. We're going to select a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. We're going to set this down right here with Clark W. Griswold III, a.k.a. Sparky. And now we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If at any point during this program you feel like you know what that card is, please put your prediction down in the comments. All right. Let's take a look around the room because it's interesting that the only major arcana energy is, of course, the Emperor and the Fool. Right? And maybe the court, right? Maybe the court needs both. Maybe we need the Emperor and the Fool. Maybe this isn't so much an idea of we're choosing one over the other. Maybe it's not that black and white. See, we got that 2 of Pentacles up here, the card of change. But maybe it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive, that I'm either in control of my life and I'm either very disciplined and I have a very serious sort of ambition and a structure to life, or I can be free and creative and I can just float on the breeze like a feather, right? Or just be the rock of my own life, you know? Maybe we don't have to choose. Maybe we need both. Maybe there's a way of integrating these two, and maybe it's feels to me anyway like there has been a lot of success in your life, that you've come a long way because of your discipline, because of your tenacity, because of you being in charge, thinking of the bigger picture, having a sense of purpose, right? Really doing all the opposite of the Fool stuff. The Fool has no purpose, has no plan, doesn't care about anything. the Emperor is very disciplined and very serious, takes life serious, takes your work serious, and I think has accomplished quite a bit. But this is really, it's in the background. So this might be a very important background for you, one that will always be there for you. But I wonder if all of these court cards now are thinking of a different kind of future, especially with our Knight of Cups there. We have a little bit of fire here. We have our water energy here with the court cards. We have air, 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 air. Even the Fool is air. And we have the earth up here with this. So it's kind of like, what changes are we making in our actual life, in the physical reality of our world, in our human behaviors, right? What changes are we making? Okay, I think the indication here is to not do anything so impulsive that we throw away our Emperor and just become the Fool, right? We see that sometimes, someone who's a very serious business person, they have some kind of a midlife crisis, right? And suddenly they quit their job and they're just, they're just kind of, they're just bumming around the world, right? Nothing wrong with that. Actually sounds quite nice, But I don't know if that's the transition that you're making. I don't know if that's really the transition that you want to make. So I think our Four of Swords right here in the middle, we're trying to figure out, how do I live a life that's more passionate? How do I live a life that's kind of more heart-oriented? Maybe more spiritually inclined, maybe more creative, maybe more loving and affectionate. How do I live a life that's just more full of love without throwing away my Emperor? Is there a way that I can be a little bit more Fool? Is there room in the car for both the Emperor driving the car and the Fool as the sort of dog hanging its head out the window and the tongue is wagging in the wind, Can we be both of those? Can we drive the car and live the life and be serious and take things seriously and understand, realize the import of what we're doing, but also live and laugh and love and have a good time and hang our head out the window and be silly? Do we have to be, and I honestly, I deal with that in my life as well. I have a 4-year-old daughter. I have to be serious. I have to focus on what needs to be done, right? And to, I have to work. I've got to pay the bills. I've got to do all this kind of thing. I have to drive the car. But at the same time, I also have to play. I also have to laugh and be silly and be creative and, let her do my fingernails and let her put makeup on my face. And, we have to draw pictures together and we have to do the tickle fights and the wrestling and we have to watch the movies together and cuddle and we have to do all these very kind of Fool, heart-oriented things. And it's not just about the discipline. We need a life that has both of these. And I think the Four is us saying, wait a minute now. I'm feeling now that my life needs to have more of a meaning and a purpose, but not the same as the Emperor might feel the purpose and the meaning of life, So I feel like you are inspired on this new adventure. You want a life of adventure. You want a life of this quest for this Holy Grail, right? And that's sort of leading you to this very pure Fool life, which the Fool doesn't really have a direction. Now, let's say the Fool is on a quest for the Holy Grail. The Fool doesn't know what a Grail is, doesn't know what a quest is, doesn't have a sword, is just sort of wandering through the woods, stumbles into one thing after the other, ends up finding the Grail. It's through the innocence and the naivete that the Fool accomplishes it, right? So it's kind of demonstrating that there's a need for this purity, a purity of purpose, a purity of heart. That when we're in the moment, when we're doing the tickle fights with our kids, right? We're there, we're doing that. There's no agenda. There's no, we're not in that Emperor mode. It's just pure. We're the pure Fool at that time, And it seems like with the Two of Pentacles up above here, we need to find ways to incorporate some of the spontaneity of the Fool while not losing forever the discipline and the seriousness and the heavy weight and the power and the authority of our emperor. We can be the fool and the emperor. Maybe the Two of Pentacles is saying we need to learn how to switch one off and turn the other one on. When you're at work, when you're doing your grind, when you're at the gym or you're at work or you're doing your creative work, you're all business, right? And then here we're just sort of, we're at the club. I left work behind me, now I'm just dancing. Yeah. So the Two of Pentacles could be a switch. Could be that we're learning like what is appropriate in what place here. And I think that because you have this Knight of Cups here kind of coming out of this Emperor energy, it's like we realize that we cannot just be this, that this is too limiting. This is not passion. This is not freedom. This is not spontaneity or creativity. This is not a tickle fight. Can you imagine the Emperor in a tickle fight? No, I can't. I can see the Fool doing that though, right? And so the Four of Swords becomes this, wait a minute. I'm missing out on something in life. If I'm not incorporating some of this passion, if I'm not being led by my heart into these, the tickle fights, let's say, or the dancing, right? The moments of laughter, the spontaneity, the creativity. If I can never let loose and just follow what my heart wants to do and have a good, wholesome time with friends and family, then what's the point? So the Knight of Cups is imagining a different future. The Knights are always looking at the future. And it's kind of like if we're just the Emperor and we're looking at the future, we're thinking, I don't like that future. I don't like who I am. I don't like where I am. I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like myself. If I am just the Emperor from now until the end of my days, that ain't going to make me happy. And so we have this kind of, whoa, wait a minute attitude. I don't like the future that I see right now. I want to change. Two of Pentacles, change. I want to change the vision of the future here. Okay? It's kind of like we're being visited by the ghost of Christmas future, and it's just, I don't like that future that I see, but I can do something about it. I can find a way to get in touch with my emotions. This is the Princess of Cups. This is all about paying attention to what we're feeling, putting that spotlight of attention on our bodies, on our hearts, on are we really enjoying life? What kind of things do I fantasize about? What are my dreams telling me? Right? What's in my imagination? What is in my heart? If one of your kids, I don't know if you have kids, but if you had a kid and your kid said, draw me a picture, anything. If you had a blank sheet of paper and a crayon, right? Of whatever color, what the heck would you draw? And it's not an intellectual exercise. It's not something that, what should I draw? Well, maybe I'll just draw, I don't know, some people. Maybe I'll draw a flower. Maybe I'll draw a sun, right? Maybe I won't draw anything. Maybe I'll just color, right? But we think about it and it sort of destroys it. This is feeling to action. This is emotion to the behavior. Bypasses the intellectual mind. You don't think about what you're going to draw. Just draw. Be spontaneous. This is free association. This is about, and I think Jung wrote about this a lot, that if you have these dreams or these impulses or these fantasies or these symbols that arise in your consciousness, however they appear to you, mostly it's like a dream. You dream about something and there's an object of your dream, like you dream of a hat or something. That's a symbol that sticks out, like a baseball hat, right? So you just start drawing a picture. Maybe you start with the baseball hat and then you just sort of expand off. And now there's these bunny ears on it. And then it just becomes something else and it's just flowing through you. It's not something that's intellectually determined. Okay, it's not logical. It's not left brain at all, right? So maybe what we have here is the connection between left brain, right brain, connection between Emperor and Fool, and the connection between your feelings, emotions, fantasies, desires, and your internal sort of emotional imagination kind of world, and the expression of that, how you are actually manifesting that out into the world. Because I think it's going to create a happier life. Yeah. I think we could all benefit from a little bit more Fool in our life and from getting in touch with what our emotions are really telling us, what our dreams are really telling us. I think that you would do well creating a dream journal. But more than that, the dream journal is just to get those symbols out of there. You know, the baseball cap. Okay, well, this is one dream symbol or something. And then it's a matter of doing something creative in the physical world. Just get a sheet of paper. You could be at work on your lunch break or whatever. Just get a sheet of paper, get a colored pencil or a pen or whatever, and just start drawing, sketching some sort of visual thing. But bypass the intellectual mind. Don't rationalize it. We may start with that symbol from our dream journal. We wrote down our dreams. Okay, there's a butterfly in my dream. Okay, first I'll start with the butterfly. And then, oh, look, that butterfly is becoming an elephant. It's becoming a big ship on the ocean or something. And it's just, we let it expand in that way. I think that's a good practice for you. But the Two of Pentacles is about other things too. What kind of behaviors can we incorporate into our life that will give us a little bit more freedom? How much are you playing in life? You know, how much time do you allow yourself? Do we ever take with the Four of Swords? Do we ever take a time out just to say, hey, you know what? I'm taking a break from work. We're just gonna go outside and play. I'm just going to I'm going to sing and dance. I'm going to put on some music and I'm going to dance around the living room because I'm inspired to do that. Sometimes we have to schedule it though, you know. And how do you do that? How do you schedule spontaneity? It's sort of an oxymoron, right? And so we're in a bit of a quandary because we have this intense ambition in our life, and I think that you're a busy person. I think you have a lot that's going on in your your very, very serious daily life, you know. But at the same time, there are these new feelings, these new urges bubbling up in you. You want more. You want a life that is rich with meaning, rich with experience, rich with symbolism and art and colors and music and dancing and laughter and tickle fights, right? All these things. Sometimes we have to really make a mental effort to say, hey, I'm going to take the time out from life, you know, from the emperor life, and I'm just going to do something, I don't know, I'm just going to stop doing my work, right? And I'm just going to go outside and walk around, see what happens. See what I'm inspired to do, and then let something happen spontaneously. Sometimes the Four of Swords is a card of meditation. And it's kind of saying that maybe we should sit down and close our eyes. Just sit in a comfortable position and close your eyes. Just the act of closing your eyes changes your reality. My eyes are closed right now, and it's weird, right? Because it shuts off like more than half. It shuts off like 90% of what we're perceiving. So much of our mental activity is wrapped up in the sensations that are going on around me. And of course, as human beings, a lot of us are very visually oriented. And audibly too, but I mean, you can't really go around plugging your ears. I guess you could. And there are yoga and meditation practices that do involve shutting off all of the senses, right? You don't smell anything, you don't hear anything, you don't see anything, and eventually we don't feel anything with our nerve endings either. So we're really cutting off, 90 to 99% of what we're perceiving, and then we can shine that spotlight of our attention on anything we want or on nothing at all. We just clear our mind and we see what bubbles up, right? And so in these kind of ways, we'll begin to understand what these feelings are that are currently underneath the surface, underneath all the mental activity, underneath all of the sort of the very conscious, serious activity of the Emperor. See, this is a very conscious card, and it's asking us, what do we focus our attention on? Well, I think your priorities are changing. I think that you're beginning to focus your life, almost defocus your life. Does that make sense? Instead of having this very intense spotlight on your work, your ambitions, your goals, or whatever you're doing in life, right? When I say work, I just mean whatever that focus is, Instead of having that sort of laser focus, the Fool is kind of just widening the aperture. It's more diffuse attention, where we're not really focused on anything. We're just kind of taking in all of it at once. And if we shut our eyes even, and shut our ears and maybe shut our mouths, which I would do, but then, of course, I couldn't tell you what I'm feeling right now. Then we have this diffuse attention, but on our internal state, how we're feeling, what's going on with the body, how does my body feel, right? And we're not really pinpointing anything. We're not shining the spotlight of attention on anything. We're just trying to be present in the moment and just see what comes up. Most of the time, it's going to be a lot of the mental chatter that's going to come up. But eventually, we'll start getting sensations and feelings that are coming from inside of us. Maybe first it's going to be, well, my back sort of aches. I got this pain between my shoulder blades, My knee is messed up from riding that darn bicycle too much. I pulled some kind of a ligament on my kneecap. I don't know what ligament it's called, the patella something. But it's a little bit strained anyway. So, but eventually we just start having these images, fantasies, these desires that are coming up. And I think that it's really leading you to new activities, to new things. And then we get ideas. Then we get inspired. Right? And maybe that's a more formal meditation practice to kind of see what's going on inside of us. But eventually we can just do this where we take an intentional time out from our daily life. And we do whatever comes to us. Maybe you just want to dance. Maybe you suddenly have this urge to listen to a particular song. How many times do you have that urge to listen to a particular song, but you don't listen to it? Sometimes you just gotta immediately put it on. Because sometimes these spontaneous images or wishes or desires or urges are very, very important. It's kind of a message from your own soul, just as your dreams are, right? Trying to tell you something. These little things, you hear, suddenly you have an urge to listen to a song that you haven't thought about in years, right? There's a reason for that, right? And I think that our Knight of Cups is trying to live a life that is a little bit more soul-led. Rather than consciously directed, it's more unconsciously directed, And I think that's a good indication that we do need both the Emperor and the Fool. We don't want to be completely led by our unconscious, nor do we want to have a life that is completely left brain, rational, kind of, all business all day, every day. Neither one of these would be very helpful to live a happy life. So I think we need to incorporate both here. And I think that's what you're doing. You're feeling this inspiration to live life in a different way, to incorporate more beauty, more love, more joy, more art, more spontaneity, more passion, more adventure, more pursuit, right? Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's totally free. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from, okay? Now, as your general energy, Path of the Serpent here, we have a Princess of Wands. This is you really just kind of out here dancing. This is you really with this impulsive energy that just says, you know what, it's like you get up and you start dancing and everyone, Seven of Swords, everyone's looking at you like, what is wrong with that person? Can you imagine? How many of us have ever done that? How many of you have just in the middle of a business meeting, well, maybe not, maybe don't do it at work, but, where you can safely do this without any serious repercussions, just get up and just start dancing, or just put on a song in your headphones and just really just start grooving to it. We get embarrassed. We're just we don't want to stand out. It's like that's kind of inappropriate behavior for the world, right? You don't do that in public. There's some people that won't even sing in the shower, right? But this is a card that doesn't really care what other people think. I don't care if I'm embarrassed. I don't care if people are looking at me. I'm living my life in this way, And sometimes I feel this, for instance, when I'm out in public with my daughter. We go to like a museum or like a playground or something, and most of the people there, their kids are playing, and the parents are just sitting on the bench reading or just watching or interacting from afar, or they're on their phone or something. And my daughter always wants me to go play with her, And sometimes I Sometimes I let my Fool out and I say, oh, okay, I'll go play. And I'm rolling around in the dirt and I'm going down the slide and I'm whooping and I'm hollering and I'm laughing and stuff. And some of the other parents are looking at me like I'm nuts. Like, what are you doing? Why are you playing with your kid? You know, and I don't care. I notice it. And that's the Seven of Swords. We're going to feel that. We're going to feel the self-consciousness of living life differently than everybody else. Okay? But this is you dancing in the street because you found some sort of inspiration in your life. You found a way to both have this ambition, have this consciously directed, serious, kind of disciplined life. But you've added so much depth and meaning to it by letting the Fool out a little bit. You know? I mean, even just a little bit is going to go a long way here to increase our satisfaction in life. Yeah. And I think the more you discover what these impulses are and what you really want to do, what feels good. The Emperor is not about the Emperor. It's about what they can accomplish. Right? The Emperor is this office that's responsible for the realm. You have so much responsibility, you have no time for yourself. Well, I think the Fool is kind of the opposite of that. I think I don't care what anybody else needs. I'm doing me. Now, of course, again, either extreme is going to be a little bad, but a combination of the two is perfect. You have intense responsibility to whatever you're doing. Maybe you're a business owner. You have a family. You got bills. You have a lot of responsibilities in life. Well, the heavier life gets, the more we have a need for a little bit of release. A little bit of, I don't care about anybody else right now. I want to do what feels good to me. I want to have some sort of desire here. You know? And the more spontaneous, the better. Otherwise, it's still the Emperor saying, oh, yes, we'll go have a nice meal. I'll order the fish. It'll be delicious. I'll have a great time. We can't really plan it out too far like that, you know? And I think that's the problem with our air energy, which we do have a lot of air energy today. And it's too much we're trying to plan for the spontaneity. And we can't do that. But the Princess of Wands is you dancing, having a good time, being yourself, not caring what other people think. The Seven of Swords, of course, is part of the obstacle. We care what other people think. We're going to get looks. We're going to get comments from people, and we're going to notice some of this critical energy coming from other people. Sometimes we just have to not care. Sometimes we got to live life for ourselves because everyone's going to have an opinion. You know what they say about opinions, right? Everyone's got one. And everybody is either going to agree or disagree with every single thing you do. Okay? So if we understand that it doesn't matter what choice you make, someone somewhere will have a problem with it. Can't please all the people all the time. Can't please anyone ever. Might as well start pleasing yourself a little bit. And yes, I'm advocating a little bit of selfish energy here. Because of how heavy and how responsible you already are, you need a little bit of selfish energy. And that's kind of the Fool. The Fool doesn't care about anybody else. The Fool can be quite inconsiderate. Only cares about the moment and what that impulse is right here, right now, and what I'm doing right here, right now. Because somebody will always have an issue with what you're doing. You could throw a rock and find somebody that can tell you what you're doing wrong about anything, about playing at the playground with your kids, you know. And I'm not harping on that experience. It's more hypothetical than anything. I've never really noticed any parents, you know, really giving me weird looks, but it's always in the back of my mind that I'm the only parent out here like that's really rolling in the dirt and, you know, and seems like they're having fun. You can always tell the parents that are playing with their kids just because they feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. That's the Emperor. Versus those parents that are really they're just having fun too. That's the Fool. Okay? And that's just an analogy to sort of illustrate the difference. But everyone's going to have a problem with something. So we might as well try to ignore it the best we can and do what we know is right for us so we can live that meaningful life. Yeah. The obstacle here is the more air energy, obviously, the Prince of Swords. It's a fixed air energy. The difficult thing is going to be to focus to stay present in the moment. Because this is a fixed air energy, and that's hard. It's hard to stay here doing what I'm doing now. When we're in that, we're playing at the playground, and we're in that spontaneous energy, and we're having fun. Suddenly, something snaps us out of it. Something yanks us back to the office. Something yanks us forward to what I've got to do later. Suddenly, oh my gosh, it's 5 o'clock. We're going to be late for a class or something, right? And so there's always something that's going to snap us out of being in the present moment. Now, whether this is you meditating and trying to just have this diffuse self-awareness and something, there's a thought that sort of snaps us back into our Emperor energy. The Emperor is a powerful, powerful force. Well, the Fool can be a powerful force too, but this is very focused, this is very diffuse. The difficulty is to stay in one place. The mind, it takes a lot of training. That's why this card's in the position of the difficulty, in order to keep our energy in one place, right? Because something will snap us back to so-called reality, right? We'll either become very, very consciously aware that other people are looking at us, or we'll suddenly, we'll suddenly feel that some embarrassment or something. It's like you see another parent really just having fun and playing with their kid. Right, they're in the moment. They're just really having a good time, and suddenly they stop, and they look around. They stand up and they brush the dirt off, and they straighten their clothes, and they kind of look around, and then they just sit down quietly. It's like suddenly they became too aware of themselves. The Fool is an energy that has no self-awareness. It's not really selfish because it has no self. It's just a big fat zero. It's just consciousness. So the Fool is unable to be self-conscious in that way. Right? It is pure consciousness. It is not self-consciousness in that kind of anxious or, embarrassed kind of way, right? But it's difficult for us to stay in that state of mind. Yeah. Because the mind is going to attach itself to something. It's either the past or the future, or like, oh darn, I'm going to be late. We got to hurry up, and, something's going to snap us out of that moment. But that's the work. And here's the Princess of Swords saying, that's the work. It's all about training the mind. You got a lot of swords cards here, a lot of air energy. It's all about training the mind. Training the mind sometimes to just stop, just be quiet. Just let this Fool energy do its thing. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about what they say. Don't worry about what they might say. Again, back to my analogy. I never actually noticed any parents criticizing me or giving me weird looks, but I thought they were. You know what I mean? I felt that they were, but that was all in me. Whether they were actually doing that in objective reality or not, who cares? If I don't believe it, if I don't think about it, then it's not happening. Because why does it matter? Why does it matter when you're doing something? If you're dancing down the street, it would be odd if I saw somebody dancing around on the sidewalk. I would think, oh, who's that? What are they doing? What's wrong with them? Maybe they're just happy. Maybe they just have some sort of experience. They're in their Fool energy. Anyway, it's a training of the mind to be able to kind of quiet the mind down and to be able to focus our thoughts, even to defocus our thoughts. Yeah. Defocus our thoughts to allow our real desires and passions and needs and our own images and our own symbols and our own sense of beauty and adventure to present itself to us. The images of our own soul. And then to fix the mind in this hands-off kind of way, where we're able to the mind will let go of our energy and we'll be able to be ourselves for a little while, Let's look at our mystery card. I really love this reading for you. I feel like you're in such wonderful energy now, and you just keep going, keep doing it. Keep every day try to incorporate something that's a little bit spontaneous. Ease into your Fool energy a little bit. Your mind is going to resist it. Okay? Your mind isn't going to want to let go, right? And you're not losing control, right? You're giving the fool a little bit of room to dance. That's it. So the mystery card, I want to see some good water energy. I want to see 6 of cups, 3 of cups, 9, 10 of cups. I want to see some dancing here. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. 10 of cups, there we go. Gotta ring the bell for that one. This is a life that is satisfying. An emperor life all by itself is not satisfying. You may get a 10 of pentacles, you may achieve a lot, but it's not going to have the richness, the depth, and the satisfying sense of purpose. It's like you're missing the umami of life. Yeah, you have a lot of food, big meals, but it's missing the flavor, right? Or you're having the meal that you think you're supposed to enjoy. That's the food I'm supposed to like, or that I do like. But I think your spirit, your soul, your internal nature is trying to tell you it wants something else. It wants something more. I don't want to eat the same food that we had yesterday. I want something different. Like, what am I inspired to eat today? What do I want to do? How can I play? What do I want to create? What am I going to find amusing or pleasurable? What am I going to laugh at? What's going to inspire me? What song do I want to hear? What song do I want to sing? This feels like a whole family singing and dancing, doesn't it? This is what it's all about. We need more of this. All of us, more of this in our lives. Now, we're going to do an extended reading too. We'll do a hexagram from the I Ching. We'll do some oracle cards. It's going to be a great time. Click on the link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Scorpio Wednesday and Saturday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.